Welcome to the Private Practice Survival Guide podcast with your host, Brandon Seigel. I'm a published author, speaker, entrepreneur, and private practice strategist dedicated to transforming the way that healthcare functions. This podcast is all about empowering you to create the change you want to see. Let's dive in. Welcome back to the Private Practice Survival Guide podcast. I'm your host, Brandon Seigel. Thank you for tuning in. Today, we're talking about building your patient journey map. Every touch point is either building trust or eroding it. So we got to start mapping before a patient's frustration costs you their loyalty. And again, I have to be real with you. We always think that we build this trust that even on a bad day, our customers will believe in us. There are actions that can literally crush years of loyalty. And even with myself, I'm a loyal person, but when someone acts a way that does not show that they value the client relationship, I question hey, that was a stupid business decision on their part. I'm on the brink of I'm no longer, I want to be clear. I'm not like, oh my God, I'm gone. But I'm definitely like, hey, I'm open. And that door. So I always say when you create actions that are not great business decisions, the best business decisions will actually please your customer base. So when you make that decision, it's really important. And I find that when I'm a customer of someone and they make a business decision that's in the best interest of their business, it shows me if I'm a right fit for them. So when they make a business decision that hurts me but helps them, I might not be their ideal patient. I may not be that. So understanding that's really important because the patient experience, it's a journey. It's not just a visit. And so most practice owners think about patient experience and what happens inside the four walls of the clinic. But the journey starts long before the patient walks through the door. And it ends long after they leave. And so the gap between what you think the experience is and what your patient actually lives through is where loyalty is won or lost, plain and simple. And so your patient's already formed an opinion of your practice before they ever speak to a human being. What does your Google listing, your website, your hold music tell them? So when I look for doctors or whatnot, typically the first thing I do is I look at reviews because I want to know inside what does it feel like. And I can tell when it's just, hey, they're the best, they're great, Dr. Seigel cares so much, blah, 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 blah. I can read the baloney, if you know what I mean. So typically where I look is I say, hey, a 5-star is going to be perfect. A 1-star is not, but I don't even look at the stars. I look at what they're saying. The next thing I actually look at on that Google My Business profile is what are the pictures? Are they real? What do they look like? And then I go to the website and I scan from that. And one of the things I look for on a website is our patient journey, our patient experience, what we do, how we do it, what the feel is, etc. And so, data is saying that there is a patient experience gap. 86% of patients say they would pay more for a better healthcare experience. I'm going to say that again. 86% of patients would say they would pay more for a better healthcare experience. And I say it this way. Many of you have experienced Disneyland. Disneyland is not what it used to be. I'm just being honest. It's still great, but the bar has come down very far. But imagine if healthcare had a fraction of the Disney experience. Imagine if when you walked through, you got greeted with, thank you for coming in today. We're here to help. Please go up to the kiosk, check yourself in, grab a water, all these different things. Now, again, I'm a big believer that technology is actually improving patient experience. I think, honestly, the quality of receptionists, as you've heard, they're garbage. I am tired of people that are $12 an hour garbage. I'd rather pay $50 an hour and give me the patient experience. Give me the quality. Give me the technology. This idea that we're creating jobs for people that don't believe in the customer experience, they shouldn't be in those jobs. At the end of the day, you can ruin my day just based on the way you greet me. But you can't ruin my day if you've got clean, interactive experience. I know some of you are like, well, what if, the tablet's not working or this or that? And I'll be honest with you, because again, just talking about customer experience, the other day, my customer experience was impacted based on culture or based on technology. Sorry. Went to a restaurant that I frequent. They have moved from what we'll say is employees taking your order to tablets. I'm okay with that. But they only have 2 tablets. One was broken. That's where the problem is. And that's where the manager was there watching me place my order, and he could have easily said, you know what? Let me take the next person in line. We've got to register here. So again, would I pay more for a better experience? 100%. 1 in 3 patients have switched providers due to poor experience, not poor clinical outcomes. 77% of patients use online reviews as their first step in finding a new provider. 23% practices with mapped patient journeys report higher satisfaction scores. Now, here's one that I will tell you. I have audited hundreds of private practices and their customer experience. Over 50% of reviews that are a 2-star or below complain about administrative staff, billing staff, not the clinical care. That's patient experience. So 5% increase in patient retention increases practice revenue by 25 to 95%. If we can just increase that patient revenue and retention, if that makes sense. So the clinical outcome is a baseline expectation. What patients remember and what they tell their friends about is everything around that. And so understanding that and streamlining that. And so you need to document every touch point of your patient journey. I would create a visual map and record of every interaction. And I want to be crystal clear. Some of you think that that means we have to invest in people. I believe in investing in people, but I'd rather have the master's degree home run person leading the patient versus the 16-year-old chewing bubble gum. So that's where I invest in technology. Let technology drive so that when I meet with humans, it's like, oh my God, magic has hit the wall. And I say it this way, recognizing we have less money to work with, let's make our experience where every moment that we do invest in is magic. And so discovery, I want you to look at your Google search. I want you to look at referral social media insurance directory. How does that discovery process look? I need you to evaluate your first contact. Do you do phone calls, websites, online booking? And I want to be clear. You have to have a crystal clear identity. What I look for and what you look for are 2 different things. So some of you like a live answer receptionist. I don't. I like just let me get to where I need to get. I want to schedule. Give me the schedule on my phone. Let me rock and roll with that. Let me control my future. I don't want to be the effect of your people, but I want your people to treat me like royalty when I step in. Hey, Brandon, how are you today? Grab a water. And I keep saying grab a water. That is the lowest bar. Literally, just like one little thing that they don't see at other facilities can make the biggest impact. Pre-visit, how is your confirmation, your intake process, your insurance verification, directions? I want to know every penny I owe without insurance covering. Brandon, you're on the hook for $1,300. Insurance may pay up to this amount. And you're like, well, not everyone can afford that. I go, if they value the care, then they recognize I need to invest in this and it will come together. Visit, I want you to look at the arrival, the waiting room, the clinical interaction, the checkout. All these things matter. What does that look like? And then post visit, what is the billing, the follow-up, the results communication, the referral request? How are those all going in that sense? And so finding your friction points is crucial. At each touch point, ask these 3 questions. Where do patients have to wait without understanding why? Where do patients have to repeat themselves? Where does the patient not know what happens next? One of the things I've recognized is that we want to feel in control, and uncertainty breeds anxiety. And so looking at your touch points in that way is so crucial. And I think that it's good just to look at it. And so I challenge you. I've got this challenge. Are you ready? I want you to become your own mystery patient. I want you to call your practice from a phone number that they won't recognize. Try to book an appointment. Go through the process exactly as a new patient would. What do you notice? What frustrated you? That's your starting point. And if your technology, go through the same thing. Again, you have to create the patient experience you believe in and want. This exercise consistently generates awareness. And I really challenge you to do that. So your homework for this episode is to become the mystery patient of your private practice. So as we look at this, I want you to think about the digital front door, your online patient experience. Before a patient even reaches out, they've already visited your digital front door, your business Google profile, your website, your online reviews. All of those things are really important, and they can do it at any time. So looking at Google My Business, looking at website load speed on a mobile and on a desktop, your online booking approaches, and your review response rate. Again, I challenge you, email me and see how long it takes. Now, if you don't get an email within, so I'll say it this way, if you don't get an email within 2 business days, you didn't reach me. I would anticipate that you will get an email within 6 hours of writing me, unless it's after hours. Truly. How do you create that experience? What does that look like? And so there are 5 moments of truth. And so research consistently shows that patients' overall perception of your practice is shaped by a handful of specific interactions, not a sum of every visit. These are your moments of truth. Are you ready? The 5 interactions that most heavily influence whether a patient stays, refers others, leaves a review. So if you do a live answer, the first call, warm greeting, wait time transparency, clear next steps, enthusiasm, that's your first audition. Intake, acknowledging the paperwork burden, explaining why it matters, making it easy, making them feel seen and heard. First visit, provider introduction. They listen before you talk. Narrate your clinical thinking out loud. Set expectations for your care plan. Billing questions. Emphasize first, explain clearly second, offer a path forward. Never make them feel like a transaction. So my viewpoint is I actually want to have the billing. I want you to put your credit card and give me a spending limit before you come in, because I want to underpromise. What if you budgeted $10,000 for my care and it only cost you $1,000? 90% got covered. I'd look like a home run. But what you guys do is you convince them it's free, and then it costs them $1,000, and it's failure. It's failure. Value me for more than the funding source that you bring up. Plain and simple. And so follow up, checking in proactively, understanding what needs next, making sure nothing falls through the cracks, using things like Monday.com that will catch every action, interaction, automation. It will literally send them all the different things. Use systems. Systems run businesses. People run systems, plain and simple. How are we creating moments of truth that show consistency, clarity, authenticity, transparency? So I'm personally not a huge fan of the waiting room. And I would challenge you that I would pay $25 extra if I could literally walk right into my care than to sit in a waiting room. That's how much I hate a waiting room. And my viewpoint is waiting rooms take square footage. But if you are using a waiting room, it's really important that you set the expectation. You make the environment intentional. You eliminate dead time. You follow up on long waits, and you train your front desk with warmth. But again, I'm not a believer in this, but you got to do what you got to do. So as we're looking at things, I want you to start to look at what to say, the actual words, phrases, and questions that guide interaction. Keep it natural. Hey, Jamie, thank you for coming to ABC Medical today. We are excited to be here. I know it's a little scary at first, and I would love to help you understand and navigate what today will look like. Boom, 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 boom. You know, it's really important that we're putting words together and that we are creating an experience that's seamless and that prioritizes efficiency and effectiveness on them and you. So I want you to pick just one of these 5 moments and the one your practice is worst at right now. And I want you to write a 1-page script for it this week. Train your team on it. Watch what happens. So intake, I kill at intake. I can close any intake call ever. You got to create authenticity. You have to let them speak. Do you know that sometimes hearing what they say is more important than what you say? So I think it's really important that we listen. And so as we're turning unhappy patients into your biggest advocates, we need to make sure, because I know upsets happen, listen without defending, acknowledge their emotion. When I say apologize for the experience, we come back to this is not the experience we intended, and I'm sorry for that. Fix it fast and follow up. So important that we continue to look at the way that we take accountability, the way that we support. We're not perfect, that we want to create clear expectations and we want to create clear accountability. And so as I look at patient experience, some people that have said some amazing quotes that I think really resonate with this idea of patient experience. Sam Walton said the goal as a company is to have customer service that is not just the best, but it's legendary. What does legendary mean to you? What does customer service mean to you? In the great words of Maya Angelou, people will forget what you've said. People will forget what you did. But people will never forget how you made them feel. That statement I look at every day. How did I make someone feel? Really important. And then last is Bill Gates says your most unhappy customers are your greatest source of learning. Learn. And when we have an unhappy customer, my first question is, what could I have done differently? Were they a fit or not a fit? How do I ensure I never get back in that situation? And so patient experience is not a soft metric. It's a revenue driver, it's a retention engine, and it's a referral machine. The practice that treats each touch point as a strategic asset will outgrow those that treat it as an afterthought. Every single time that's true for me. And so I just think that you need to look at, with patient experience, you have to build your referral acceleration system. Satisfied patients don't automatically refer. They intend to, and then life happens. Your job is to build a system that converts their good intentions into actual referrals. Reviews through precision triggers, timing, language, etc. And my viewpoint is let them celebrate the moment, set them up for success. And so I had it today. I had someone come in to actually service my AC at my office. Great experience. I got a text message right after and it said, we would greatly appreciate your feedback. Did you love, whatever? I gave it 5-star, wrote my review, and they said, would you like to nominate us for this award? I said, yes. Very easy. 2 minutes. If you can build the referral system there, that's the way to go. And it really does work. So there's 3 pillars of referral acceleration. The first pillar is triggers. Identify these specific moments when a patient is most emotionally open to referring or writing a review, and typically right after a milestone, a pain breakthrough, or a positive surprise. That is when you ask. So my AC got serviced. The guy left. I got the text message. I'm like, oh, no, that was a good experience. Okay, boom, let me write that review. Timing, strike within 24 to 48 hours of the trigger moment. And again, in this case, it was 20 minutes. Follow-up text or a call. I don't love a call, but at peak satisfaction, again, I'm the technology guy. Make my life easy. I don't want to get stuck for an hour. If you can make it honestly, anything less than 2 minutes that helps someone that helped me, I will do every day of the week. It's when I got to log in and I got to write the review and I got to do this and I got to do that. That's when you lose me. And then language. What we do, our language is a pillar. Ask specifically, not generally. Would you be willing to leave a Google review? Outperforms, feel free to tell your friends every single time. But I'll challenge you with this. Rather than would you leave me a Google review, I'd rather say, hey, scale 1 to 10, be honest. How great are you feeling about our service? If it's anything less than a 10, my next thing is, how can I make it a 10? Anything it's a 10, I would say, oh my gosh, that is incredible. And it's rare to get someone to have that experience. Would you mind completing a Google review right now? It would mean so much to me. Meaningfulness goes a long way. So what is meaningful? In my signature line, if you ever get an email from me, it actually says, I love helping people. And I forget the way I phrased it, but basically I say, the greatest way to thank me is to write a review. That's it. Simple as that. And so simple referral language that works. Obviously after a milestone visit, we're so glad you're feeling better. If you know anyone who's been dealing with the same thing, hasn't found the right support yet, I hope you'll keep us in mind. The review text, the personal ask. Personal ask looks like this. Hey, Brandon, you've been coming and we've been working together for 2 years now. Transparently, you're the ideal patient of mine, and I don't get to work with enough patients like you. Do you happen to know anyone, or if you ever meet anyone that you feel like is going through what you went through, would you pass them my number? Something as simple as that. And I actually asked for a personal ask today. So I'm recruiting right now for a new role on our fractional HR team. And there's this incredible person, but transparently, I don't think I can afford her. So I don't want to offend her. But I wrote her and I basically just said, hey, I've got this great role. I know you're happy in your role and I know I can't afford you probably, but if you happen to know anyone that you think is a fit for this role, it would mean the world to me. And sure enough, that's a great way to open that door. And so looking at how we use our language to create relationship, define what's meaningful to us, define how we help them and how they help us. And so here's my challenge for you. Word of mouth is not a strategy. It's a hope. And a referral system is a strategy. So if you're waiting for patients to refer you organically, you are leaving your growth to chance. Build the ask into a workflow, and you'll be amazed at how quickly those referrals and reviews start coming in. Truly. So here's our recap for the episode. You need to map every touch point. Document the full journey from first Google search to discharge. Locate every friction point, understanding where people may lose or gain confidence. Next thing is script the 5 moments of truth. The third thing is systemize your referrals. It really is as simple as that. And I want to thank you for tuning into this episode. And so again, I have the ask as well. If you liked this episode, if you liked any of our episodes, there's 2 things that you can do that help me. Ready? This is what helps tell me that this podcast is making a difference. 1, getting more people to listen to it. If you know someone who can benefit, share it. The other is to write a review, because the more reviews that we get, the more that we build authenticity and impact in the search world of podcasts. And I want to make a big impact in this world. And so this podcast is about that. So I thank you for tuning into this episode. Don't forget to like us, subscribe, share a review, share us with your colleagues, because together we can thrive, not just survive. Thank you for tuning in to the Private Practice Survival Guide podcast. I'm incredibly grateful to each and every one of you. Exciting news. We're now available everywhere, from Spotify to Apple Podcasts to YouTube or anywhere you like to listen to your podcasts. So watch, listen, and reach out. If you love this episode, please drop a 5-star review. It truly means the world to me. Are you looking for more ways to elevate your practice? If so, now is your chance. Reach out, go to my website, or email me at brandon@wellnessworksmp.com. And remember, it's not just about surviving, it's about thriving.